All right, it's Bill here. Do a video. I know I haven't been doing a video lately. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going on with me, but I've got less energy than Willie Styles had in the last two periods against Utah. So, yeah, I've got a little bit of energy here. I'll do a video. I've watched all the games. There's been 4 games. Now, before I get started, I'm also going to go on a bit of the trade thing. So, I know I'm not a fan for some of you morons out there that think because I'm negative, I'm not a fan. All fans must be positive. So just for you guys, what I would suggest is there's like a My Little Pony channel on YouTube. You can go, maybe My Little Pony does a rating of the Leafs game or the weighting of the Leafs, or there's a Care Bear countdown. Maybe you can go to that. Happy Bear, happy the yellow one, I think it was Sunny Days, Sunny Bear. So why don't you guys go to that channel? I'm sure you guys will have a good time on that channel. Well, you'll probably do a little extracurricular activity. But it doesn't matter. You go to the My Little Pony channel or the Care Bear Countdown. They're going to have a real positive attitude towards everything. I would suggest you go there before you watch the video. Okay, guys? So I give you the little time to mosey on off to the other channel. Enjoy yourselves, guys, okay? For everyone else that wants to actually hear my opinion on the Leafs, and I would suggest probably the opinion on most people on the Leafs have been playing horrible, as I've stated, for a while. They played San Jose, lost in overtime, after hearing that they're 27-0 and 0 after leading after the third period. Okay, they then go to Vegas and get their butts handed to them pretty neatly after getting a great start to the game. Then it just disappeared. And then you had the Colorado game where they had a lead after the third period, blew it. And then you had the Utah game where they had a 3-0 lead. They blew it, or nearly blew it. They won in a shootout. Okay, that's what's happened over the last time. There's not much difference in these games. It was nice to see a Superman punch from Simon Benoit. It was good to see some people cared on the team, but the majority of the players, including our stars, Mitch Marner was good. Boitano was good against Colorado. For San Jose, they played 2 great periods. That's it. That's what they've played in the last 4 games. But what I'm going to focus in on here is the trade deadline, and I'm disgusted by it. If you're a Leaf fan, how could you be excited about this? I'm going to give the scenario that I have shared with my buddies who have asked me. Dallas Stars picked up Mikko Rantanen for 2 first-round picks. So if they're Dallas first-round picks, they're going to be pretty low picks. They're not high picks. They're pretty low picks. And a really good, I wouldn't even consider them a prospect. A prospect who is coming to the NHL, Logan Stankoven. That's who the Carolina Hurricanes got for Mikko Rantanen. The Leafs gave up 2 first-round picks, which will, in my opinion, be a little bit higher in the draft than the Dallas Stars. So they're going to be better first-round picks. Nikita Grabankin, who paycheck, forecheck, backcheck, like great energy guy, probably not going to be anything more than a 3rd or 4th liner. And Fraser Minton, who's probably Matt Stajan. I've already given my opinion on it. For Scott Laughton and Brandon Carlo. Let me repeat. Mikko Rantanen went for 2 first-round picks and a graduated prospect. The Leafs gave up 2 first-round picks, a decent prospect, and Matt Stajan, who's better than Scott Laughton already. Minton is better than Laughton already. For Scott Laughton and Brandon Carlo, it is now official. Brad Treliving, ding, 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 is an absolute moron. It is now official. Scott Laughton couldn't score in the OHL. He played in Oshawa. What is with the Leafs' fascination with people that play in Oshawa? It used to be fascination for the people that played in Bell Vegas. Rob Pearson, Scott Thornton, Steve Bancroft in the first round. Scott Thornton was an NHL player. Rob Pearson was an NHL player. Steve Bancroft was a bum who was famous for Eric Lindros dummying him. Like the Scouts never left Belleville. Do the Scouts never leave Oshawa? Like John Tavares, where he got him? We know he can't skate. You know what? I watched Scott Laughton play in Oshawa because I live in Curtis. Oshawa's right down the road. I've watched the games. Scott Laughton was awful in the OHL. Here's Scott Laughton. His best OHL season, he basically averaged a point a game in the OHL. Scott Laughton in the NHL has played 663 games. He has 106 goals, 159 assists. He averages less than a point a game, or less than half a point a game. He's like 0.42. Is he defensive, Bill? Really? Minus 11, minus 9, minus 9, minus 9, minus 17, minus 3 in 2 games with the Leafs. Yeah, real defensive center. You watched him play against Colorado. You watched him play against Utah. What do you think? Oh, another guy who can't skate who plays center from Oshawa? Horrible, horrible trade. This will not... So, is he a playoff performer, Bill? Oh, 24 games in the playoffs, 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points. Yeah. Less than half a point a game. Hey, didn't we pick up this Max Domi guy? You know Max Domi's better than him, even this year? Max Domi averages more than a half a point a game. His plus minus, he's plus 10. The year before, plus 1. He had a bad one in Columbus. He was plus 20 with the Canadiens. His playoff performance, more than a half a point a game. We had this player already playing third-line center. And we traded a first-round pick into Nikita Grabenkin for this piece of garbage called Scott Laughton. Your next trade up, you traded Fraser Minten and in 2026, which is supposed to be a really good draft, for Brandon Carlo. Now, I watched Brandon Carlo play with Boston. I didn't think he was that bad. Holy Moses, his first 2 games. I know he reminds me of a left-handed Corey Cross. A right-handed Corey Cross. Corey Cross was left-handed. The only difference between the two, one shoots right, one shoots left. Doesn't hit anybody. I looked up Corey Cross against Brandon Carlo. Very similar. Corey Cross averages more points. Corey Cross. His plus minus. Not bad. He had a minus 25 with Tampa Bay, but when he came to the Leafs, plus 13, plus 7, plus 11, plus 13. The one thing I'll say about Carlo, he's got a good plus minus with Boston. But I watched him play 2 games. Really enjoyed the second goal against Utah. Really enjoyed it where him and Johnny T are covering the wrong guy, or covering the same guy, and left the guy wide open in front of the net for the tap-in. Brandon Carlo. I'm sorry. I think Brandon Carlo will at least add value. He will. Now, granted, he's played with Morgan. Really? So, really, what do I expect? Well, I expect you to cover the right guy in front of the net. That's basic. I get it's Johnny T. You probably didn't trust him to cover the guy in front of the net. I got that point, Brandon. You played against him enough. You know that he probably is not going to do a good job covering that guy. But the guy was wide open. You might want to take him. Here's the other thing that ticks me off about the Leafs more than anything, is you hear the stories leak out afterwards. The stories leak out. Oh, we could have had Mikko Rantanen. Okay, coming from Nick Kyprios. And by the way, if you believe Nick Kyprios, I've got a great crypto scan or crypto coin for you. It's called BS Crypto Coins. Buy into it. It's awesome. So if you believe Kyprios, BS coins, got them. Ready to go. Well, they could have had Mikko Rantanen. They were going to trade Easton Cow and Fraser Minten and 2 first-round picks, and they would have had Rantanen, and he was signed off. But the Carolina Hurricanes said no. Oh, okay. And then they wanted Mitch Marner. Yeah, that made a lot of sense. They want Mitch Marner, a guy who isn't signed. They just traded for Mikko Rantanen, who wasn't signed into next year. Now they want Mitch Marner, who's not signed into next year. Like, what kind of stupid-ass bull crap are we listening to? But Mitchie wouldn't waive his no-trade clause. You know whose fault that is? That's Brad Treliving ding 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 ding's fault. Because he could have traded him. He joined the team. Dubas was probably going to trade him. Shanahan fired him. Treliving, ding, 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 had 5 weeks to get rid of him, where he didn't have a no-trade clause. He didn't do it. Now what do you want Mitch to do? Yeah, I'll take that no-trade clause and go to Carolina. What kind of world do we live in that it's Mitch Marner's fault that we have the worst front office led by Shanna Plan, Shanna Scam? Yeah. You know, these are crazy. These are great stories. We could have had this guy. We could have had this. I heard this before. Sundin was going to be traded in this. You know what never happened? It never happened. So stop talking about it. Well, coulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda. You know what the other teams do? They just do it. You know, I don't hear the friggin' Dallas Stars talk about the things that they might have got. Or Boston talking about things they might have got. Or Florida going, oh, I'll just grab Brad Marchand for a second-round pick. Get Seth Jones. Yeah, but we'll talk about the ones we could have had. No, only the Leafs do it. Only the Leafs do what could have happened, except for our player didn't sign off on a no-trade clause. Or the other team said no. No, you know what you didn't do? You didn't get it done. It's a results business, and you didn't get it done. That's the news story. There is no other news story. You didn't get it done. So stop talking about it. Trying to, like, we're Leaf fans, like we're idiots. Like we're going to blame Mitch Marner because he didn't get traded. We could have had Rantanen. Ooh. Because Mitch Marner didn't get it done. No, you couldn't get it done because you couldn't get it done. Because you signed the contract that gave him a no-trade clause. And what do we expect? What do you think's going to happen? I would love Scott Laughton to turn into the next Peter Zezel. I would love it. I'm going to cheer for it. Surprising to everyone else, I don't cheer against the guy. I watch the player, and I know what he is. I'm going to hope Brandon Carlo turns into the player that the Leafs played in the playoffs, where he dominated Matthews. I hope he turns into that player. I really do. I hope Johnny T gets some fire jets on his skates so he can skate. I really do. I hope he scores 90 goals in the playoffs. I just watch the games. It's not going to happen. If it happens, I'll eat my phone. I don't care. I'll have... Would you like to hear the Care Bear story? Or would you like to hear reality? If you watched the games, the Leafs have stunk since December. I can think of 3 or 4 games where I thought, wow, that was a good game and the Leafs played well. Their goalies have bailed them out. We have good goaltending. Yes, we're missing Tanev. I got all those points. Tanev is a great defenseman. It might get better when Tanev's back. It could. But when you're 4 forwards that you pay 40-something million to don't score, we'll see what happens in playoff time. And for all the people that are worried about, oh, Mitch Marner should have signed it. He's not talking about our contract. Who cares? Do you really? I'm going to ask a question. If the Leafs bail out in the first round at Tampa Bay or Florida this year, do you really want Mitchie back? Would you rather take that $12 million and maybe go get someone else? Or $13 million, whatever the hell he wants? Do you really want to sign Johnny T? Johnny T! If the Leafs lose in the playoffs in the first round, do you really want to bring it back for a 9